Hello, good afternoon everyone. Today we are going to see the D'Alembert's principle. This is one of the important principles we are going to study in the part kinetics of particle. Kinetics of particles. This is the sixth module in engineering mechanics. Okay, in kinetics of particle, we are basically, as the name suggests, kinetics is that branch in which we are going to study the motion by considering the forces acting on a body. And as we say that it is the kinetics of particles, that means it is a particle dynamics. In particle dynamics is a dynamics in which we are not going to consider the dimensions of a body. We are assuming that entire body as a single particle, and then we are doing the analysis. Then it becomes a particle analysis. So obviously, in kinetics of particle, we are going to do motion analysis of the bodies by considering the forces acting on it and neglecting the dimensions of a body. Okay. So in kinetics of particle, basically in engineering mechanics syllabus of first semester, first engineering semester 1, we are going to study three basic principles. These are nothing but, first is a D'Alembert's principle. D'Alembert's principle. The second one we are going to study is the work energy principle. And the third one, it is impulse momentum principle. So these are the three basic principles we are going to study in kinetics of particle. Now D'Alembert's principle, it is basically based on Newton's second law of motion. Work energy principle, it simply states that the change in kinetic energy is equal to the total work done by a body between stage 1 and 2. And impulse momentum principle, it is based on the law of conservation of momentum. Okay. So today's topic is nothing but it is a D'Alembert's principle. So first of all, we will study what is the statement of a D'Alembert's principle. As already we have discussed that D'Alembert's principle, it is based on Newton's second law of motion. So first of all, let us just discuss what is the mathematical expression of Newton's second law. It simply states that summation of forces is equal to mass into acceleration. This is the basic statement, mathematical expression of Newton's second law of motion. Okay. Now what D'Alembert stated that, now as per D'Alembert's principle, he has simply modified this statement of Newton's second law of motion, and he stated that summation of F minus ma is equal to 0. This statement becomes D'Alembert's principle. Now what is the theoretical statement of the D'Alembert principle is that if we add the inertia vector ma with the negative sign to the summation of forces acting on a body, then the body comes in a dynamic equilibrium. Okay. So that becomes D'Alembert's, that is the basic statement of a D'Alembert's principle. So if we consider a body on which there are number of forces acting, F1, F2, F3, F4. So let us assume that there is a body on which there are number of forces are acting, and because of these forces, this body is moving in particular direction with acceleration a. And suppose ax is the x component of acceleration, ay is equal to y component of acceleration, and az is z component of acceleration. Suppose under the action of these forces, body is moving in particular direction with acceleration a. Then suppose ax, ay, az are the x, y, z component of acceleration. Then by Newton's second law, we will write summation of forces in x direction will be equal to max, summation of forces in y direction is equal to may, and summation of forces in z direction is equal to maz. So these are the three equations as per the Newton's second law. And when we modify it, it becomes the D'Alembert's principle. That means simply we have to just transpose this inertia vector ma with the summation of forces. Then it becomes D'Alembert's principle, that is summation fx minus max is equal to 0, summation fy minus may is equal to 0, and summation fz minus maz is equal to 0. So this is the D'Alembert principle. That means simply we have to add this inertia vector in that direction to the summation of forces in that direction with a negative sign, then automatically the state becomes the dynamic equilibrium state. This is a purely imaginary state because body is not in equilibrium. We assume that body is in equilibrium, and we call it as a dynamic equilibrium, and we can apply the D'Alembert principle to solve the problems, that is to analyze the motion of a body, to find out the acceleration, velocity and displacements. Now in this case we have just considered the three-dimensional motion in which acceleration is along x, y and z direction, but in your problems acceleration may be in one direction or it may be in two direction. So let us just study what are the different directions of acceleration first of all. For example, let us take one example. Let us consider a block resting on a flat surface. A block resting on a flat surface. It is acted upon by a force F making an angle theta with respect to horizontal. Let us take the coefficient of kinetic friction mu k at the surface, that is interface of block and surface. Suppose W is the weight of the block, and suppose this block is moving in horizontal direction with acceleration A is the acceleration of a block in horizontal direction. As the acceleration is only along one direction, this acceleration is only along one direction, okay. So in this case there cannot be two or three component of acceleration, there is only one component of acceleration, that is ax, okay, and we can have only one inertia force, one inertia vector, that is in a direction of motion, and we call it as ma. So for this kind of motion in which block is sliding on a horizontal surface, we can write two equations. Summation fx minus ma is equal to 0, while summation of fy will be equal to 0, as there is no motion along vertical direction, and the summation of forces, all the forces are balancing along vertical direction, and we can write summation fy is equal to 0 because this is the motion along only one direction. Now let us consider another example. Where the block is kept on inclined plane, making some angle theta with respect to horizontal, and if we apply force P parallel to the surface, force is applied parallel to the surface, mu k is the coefficient of kinetic friction at the interface. Suppose W is the weight of the block. Now what is happening in this case? Block is moving along the plane, okay. So if we consider this type of coordinate axis, which is a conventional coordinate axis, this is y and this is x axis. So as per this coordinate axis, this will be the inclined motion, that is a two-dimensional motion. But for a convenience, we consider that coordinate axis is shifted such that one of the axis is perpendicular to the plane and one of the axis is parallel to the plane. So this becomes your x axis and this becomes your y axis. So we are just shifting the coordinate axis. So the x axis is parallel to the plane and y axis is perpendicular to the plane. So in this case again motion becomes only in one direction, that is a one direction motion, and again acceleration is along only one direction, there is no acceleration in perpendicular direction. So again we can write an equation, summation fx minus ma is equal to 0 because motion is along this direction, which is ma, and summation fy will be equal to 0 because there is no motion along vertical direction and all the forces in vertical direction is balanced, and we can write the equation, condition of equilibrium, that is summation fy is equal to 0. Now these are the cases where the acceleration was along x direction. Now let us take an example where acceleration is along vertical direction. Let us consider a frictionless pulley. There is a frictionless pulley and there is a string passing over a frictionless pulley. At one end there is a block connected. Suppose block A is connected on left hand side of the pulley, left end of the pulley, string on pulley, and suppose there is a block B which is connected on the right end of the string. Let us consider that weight A is greater than weight B. Weight A is greater than weight B. In this case, suppose we release the system from rest. It will start moving like this, that block A will come down and block B will move up. That is, the motion of block A will be downwards and motion of block B will be upwards. Now if you consider the free body diagram of block A, now free body diagram of block A will look like this, where there is a tension acting along a string in upward direction. The weight of the block WA is acting in downward direction. Now this entire system is moving downwards, so inertia force for this is equivalent to the inertia vector MA acting in downward direction. Now in this case there is no force acting in horizontal direction, also there is no motion in horizontal direction. Okay, so we should not take that, we are not required to consider that term fx, we are only required to consider the term along y direction. So for this particular type of free body diagram we can write summation fx is equal to 0, but there is no force on the left hand side as well as there is no any inertia vector on right hand side because it is a vertical type of motion. But for summation fy we can write minus fa minus ma, summation fy is equal to minus ma because the inertia vector is acting in downward direction. So that sign I am giving on that side of the equal sign, if you bring that it will become plus, so summation fy plus ma will be equal to 0. Similarly, if we draw the free body diagram of block B, then there is a tension acting on a block T, its weight acting in downward direction. The block B is moving in upward direction, so the inertia vector ma, let us write subscript A for this motion and subscript B for this acceleration B. So in this case again there is no motion as well as there is no force along x direction, so we can directly write summation fx is equal to 0, but for summation fy we have to write summation fy is equal to plus mab, we write this as ma subscript A mab because this motion is in upward direction. So I am writing this inertia vector on that side of equal to sign, so that is the Newton's second law. If you bring that, if you transpose this term on left hand side of the equal to sign, then it becomes minus summation fy minus mab is equal to 0, so that will become your D'Alembert's principle. So we have just studied three different types of motion, where in first case there was a horizontal motion, pure horizontal motion along x direction. In other case there was a motion along inclined plane, but we shifted the coordinate axis such that x axis is along the plane and y axis is perpendicular to the plane. Now there is a third case where there was a vertical motion, so accordingly we take the inertia vectors in vertical directions. Now let us analyze a problem to find out the acceleration by D'Alembert's principle. Let us start with a very simple problem. Where there is only one block acted upon by a force, and we have to find out either acceleration of a block, or in case acceleration is given we have to find out the force acting on a block to produce the required amount of acceleration. So problem is such that let us consider a block of 550 Newton. A block of 550 Newton is resting on flat horizontal surface. It is acted upon by a force of 400 Newton, and it is making an angle of 30 degree with respect to horizontal. Let us take the value of mu k is equal to 0.32. Now in some cases the value of mu k as well as value of mu s is also given, but as this is the problem of dynamics, we have to only consider the coefficient of kinetic friction, we should not consider the coefficient of static friction. Now in this case the question is like this: the 550 Newton block which is resting on a flat surface, it is acted upon by a force of 400 Newton which is inclined at 30 degree with respect to horizontal. What will be the acceleration of a block? Okay, in this case what will be the acceleration of a block? Similarly, what will be the distance travelled by the block after 4 seconds? The question is directly find the distance travelled by block after 4 seconds. So we have to find out the distance travelled by the block after 4 seconds. So to calculate the distance part, we have to consider the kinematics of particle, but for that part, that is kinematics of particle, we require the acceleration of a block. To calculate the acceleration of a block, we need to first of all analyze the problem by using a kinetics of particle, and that is a D'Alembert's principle in this case. Then we will find out the acceleration, and then we use that term of acceleration, that value of acceleration in the kinetics of particle part to find out the distance travelled. Okay. So the problem will go like this. This is a very simple and basic problem of a D'Alembert's principle. First of all, we will draw the free body diagram of this block. Now what is the free body diagram? That we have to separate the body from surrounding, and we have to show all the forces acting on a body, that is active and reactive forces. So free body diagram will look like this. This is the y axis, this is the x axis. Now the weight of the body is acting along y axis and it is vertically downward. The value of the weight is given, it is 550 Newton. Similarly, the force, external force is acting on a body which is of a 400 Newton value is 400 Newton. the angle is given 30 degree. Now this force is inclined to horizontal, so we need to resolve this force. This is already vertical, so we need not resolve this force, we have to resolve this force because this is acting at some angle with respect to horizontal. So there are two components we are getting for this force. This is 400 cos 30 degree, because this angle is 30, so this angle automatically becomes 30, which is a corresponding angles, and this vertical component will become 400 sin 30. So these are the two components of the force. Now as this block or box is resting on a flat surface, the flat surface will offer a reaction which is perpendicular to the surface. In this case it is vertical, because surface is horizontal, the reaction is perpendicular to the surface, so it will act in a vertical direction, vertically up. Let us name this as N. Now as the block is moving in right hand side, because the force is applied on the right hand side, the motion is obviously on the right hand side, so there is a friction force acting in opposite direction, and the friction force always act at a contact surface, and it is tangential to the surface, and it is opposite to the direction of motion. So this will be the direction of friction force, which is opposite to the motion. In this case it is mu k n. We have to write mu k n because it is a kinetic friction force. As the body is moving, we have to consider the kinetic friction force. Now these are the forces acting on a body in a resolved form in a free body diagram. Now we have to analyze this by D'Alembert principle. As the body is in motion, we have to equate this motion. This entire system of forces is equivalent to the vector m a. Okay, so this entire system of forces is equivalent to vector ma. This vector ma is nothing but the inertia vector acting in a direction of motion. As the direction of motion is horizontal along x axis towards right, so inertia vector is also acting in horizontal direction towards right, but I am writing this on that side of the negative sign, that is nothing but the Newton's second law. If we bring this term on left hand side, it is automatically becoming a D'Alembert principle. Now let us just apply the conditions of equilibrium. As we are considering the inertia vector in this problem, we can consider that body is in dynamic equilibrium, and the equation will become like this. For this free body diagram, we have to write summation fx is equal to ma and summation fy is equal to 0. Why summation fx is equal to ma? Because there is the inertia vector acting along x direction, but there is no motion along y direction, so directly summation fy becomes equal to 0. Now let us write down the values. Summation fx, in summation fx just take down all the forces acting on the body in horizontal direction. The sign convention is rightward positive and leftward is negative. So what are the forces acting? First of all, this is a horizontal force acting in right hand side direction, so it is plus 400 cos 30. So plus 400 cos 30. Then the force acting in left hand direction mu k n, that is minus mu k n. So there are only two forces acting in horizontal direction, that is 400 cos 30 minus mu k n. This is equal to the inertia vector ma. Now what is the mass of the body? The weight is given 550 Newton, so mass will be equal to 550 divided by 9.81. 550 divided by 9.81, that is the mass of the body, and its acceleration, that is we need to find out. We have to find out this value of acceleration a. So this is the required value, this is the value that we are targeting, we are finding out. Okay, in this equation the a is unknown, n is unknown, and mu k is known, because mu k is given in the problem. Mu k is equal to 0.32. So let us just put the value of mu k in this equation. So it becomes 400 cos 30 minus 0.32 into n is equal to 550 divided by 9.81 into acceleration of a body. As we need to find out the acceleration of a body, so this equation will give you the value of acceleration if we know the value of normal reaction n. How to find out this value of normal reaction n? That can be found out by this equation, that is summation fy equal to 0. From this we just list down the vertical forces acting on a body, and from that we will get the value of normal reaction. We will put that value of normal reaction in this equation to find out the value of acceleration. So let us just list down all the forces acting in vertical direction. So it is minus 550 because it is acting in downward direction, then plus n normal reaction acting in vertical direction, and the vertical component of this 400 Newton force, which is 400 sin 30, it is acting in upward direction, so it will be positive 400 sin 30, and this will be equal to 0. So So if you observe this equation, in this equation there is only one unknown. Okay, if we simplify this equation, okay, so we will get the value of n will be equal to 350 Newton. If we calculate this equation to find out the value of n, you will get the value 350 Newton. If we put this value of 350 Newton in this equation, we will get the value of acceleration, that is 400 cos 30 minus 0.32 into value of n is 350 is equal to 550 divided by 9.81 into a. Now we have kept this value of n in this equation. Now let us just simplify this equation to get the value of a. Finally, we will arrive the value of a to 4.18 meter per second square. So finally, we are getting this value of acceleration. A is equal to 4.18 meter per second square. Now the question is not to find out only acceleration part. We have to find out the distance traveled by the block after 4 seconds. So once we get the acceleration, we can use the kinematics of particle to get the distance traveled in a 4 seconds. So let us just use kinematics of particle after this. By kinematics of particles, we have u is equal to 0 because block is starting from rest, v is equal to final velocity of the block, okay, which is not known, s is equal to distance travelled after 4 seconds, which is not known, a is equal to acceleration of a body, which is equal to 4.18 meter per second square, and t is equal to time taken by a body, that is nothing but 4 seconds. We are given 4 seconds. In this 4 seconds we have to find out the total distance travelled. So we can use three out of three, we can use any one equation of kinematics of particle. In this case, we can simply use s is equal to ut plus half at square. So s is equal to, this part will become 0 as u is equal to 0 plus half into 4.18, which is acceleration of a body, into the time given is 4, that is 4 square, and finally we will arrive to the value of distance s, which will be equal to, so after calculating this we will get the value of distance. Similarly, we can calculate the value of velocity v. So v we can calculate by v is equal to u plus at, where u is equal to the initial velocity, that is 0, acceleration of a block, just we have calculated 4.18, and t is equal to time. If you put the value of all the known values, we will get the value of velocity v is equal to 16.72 meter per second. So this is the value of velocity after 4 seconds. Now we have studied the problem in which the motion of the block was on a horizontal surface. Now let us take a problem where the motion of a block is on an inclined surface. So the problem is such that there is a 100 kg block. The problem is 100 kg block kept on an inclined surface. The angle of inclination is 40 degree. The value of coefficient of kinetic friction mu k is equal to 0.2, and it is acted upon by force P inclined at angle 10 degree. Find out the acceleration of a block. Okay. So in this case, suppose there is a 100 kg block kept on an inclined plane, the value of coefficient of kinetic friction 0.2 and 40 degree angle, it is applied by force P. Okay. Now in this case, let us assume that P is unknown, force which will produce acceleration, of, let us say, 3 meter per second square. So this is the reverse problem. If you compare with the last problem, it is the reverse one. In last problem, the force was given, we have to find out the acceleration. In this case, we are providing you the acceleration value, and we have to find out what is the value of P, what is the magnitude of force you have to apply to produce this acceleration. So now in this case already we have discussed that problem is now on inclined surface, so we have to shift the coordinate axis such that x axis is parallel to the plane and y axis will be perpendicular to the plane. So the first step will be to resolve the forces by considering the free body diagram of a body. Okay, free body diagram of a block. So FBD of a block will look like this. So this is the free body diagram. This is the box kept on inclined plane. This is y axis, this is x axis of the block. Now the force will pass through the centroid and it is acting in vertically downward direction. So this is a vertical force passing through center of gravity. The value is equal to 100 into 9.81 Newton. Okay. Now the vertical component of the force, now this angle will be equal to 40 degree. So this will be equal to 100 into 9.81 into cos 40, which is acting in vertical direction. This component will be acting in vertical direction. The horizontal component of the force will be equal to 100 into 9.81 into sin 40. Now as there is an external force acting on a body, we have to resolve this force also, because it is acting at an angle with respect to horizontal. With respect to horizontal angle is 10 degrees. So we have to resolve this force also. So if you draw the force along this line, which is inclined at 10 degrees, so this is the force P 10 degree. This is the horizontal component, which will be P cos 10, and the vertical component will be P sin 10. Horizontal is P cos 10, vertical component will be P sin 10. As we know that there is a normal reaction offered by a inclined plane which is perpendicular to the plane. Suppose let us say n is the value of normal reaction. As the block is moving in this direction, the friction force will be acting in opposite direction. So this is the coefficient of kinetic friction, mu k into n. So mu k into n. So this is the resolved forces, that is the system of forces acting on a body in a resolved form. Now this entire system will be equivalent to the vector ma in x direction, which is parallel to the plane. Now let us just analyze by D'Alembert's principle. So what are the equations from this free body diagram? First of all, there is a summation fx will be equal to ma and summation fy will be equal to 0, because there is no motion along vertical direction. Now what are the components acting in horizontal direction? Just list down the forces. So first of all we have P cos theta, P cos 10, we have P cos 10, then minus 100 into 9.81 into sin 40, 100 into 9.81 into sin 40. So first force right hand side, this is on the left hand side. This force is also acting on a left hand side, which is minus mu kn, So how many forces are there? There are 3 forces in horizontal direction, P cos 10, minus 100 9.81 into sin 40 and minus mu kn. This will be equal to the mass of body, which is 100, into the acceleration in a body is equal to 3. So from this equation we know only one value, that is mu k is equal to 0.2. So let us just put this value of mu k. So it becomes P cos 10 minus, so this will become 981 sin 40 minus 0.2 n, which will equal to 300. So this is the equation we are getting. Now let us just resolve the force in vertical direction. In vertical direction we have minus 100 into 9.81 into cos 40 in downward direction, so we apply negative sign, minus, then plus n plus P sin 10 is equal to 0. Now let us just simplify this equation. We will get minus 981 cos 40 plus n is equal to plus P sin 10 is equal to 0. Okay. So if we simplify this equation, if we rearrange all the terms in the equation, we will get the equation minus 0.2 n plus P cos 10 is equal to 930.57. This is one of the equation we are getting after rearranging and simplifying the equation. If we simplify and rearrange this equation, we will arrive to the equation such that n plus P sin 10 is equal to 751.49. So this is another equation we are getting, that is equation 2. So this is equation 1 and this is equation 2. If we solve these two equations simultaneously, we will get the value of n and p. So after solving the equations, simultaneously, solving equation 1 and 2 simultaneously, we get n is equal to 567.4 Newton and P will be equal to 1060.16 Newton. So these are the values we are getting after simplifying the equation. So these are the required values. We want to find out what is the value of applied force P to get this acceleration. So this is the final answer, that is P is equal to 1060.16. So we have solved two problems in which acceleration was along horizontal direction. In next lecture we will solve a problem in which there is acceleration along vertical direction. Similarly, we will solve some problems in which we are considering the bodies connected with a string, where there is an acceleration of a body which is having some relation between, there is a relation of acceleration between two bodies. Thank you.